Who is not a God, and you are? Whose word is not true, and it is not yours? Is it not you who runs the heavens, the earth, the seas, and all that belongs in it? Is it not by your word that every existence belongs? Or did you not say in Psalms 33, verse 9, you speak and it happens. You command and it becomes. For in Ecclesiastes 8:4, you say, where the word of a king is, there is power, because an order of a king cannot be disputed. It's about non-conditional obedience. Is our Creator God any different? Who is this who wants to dispute when God speaks in scriptures? Or do you not know that it is God who spoke face to face with the prophets, afterwards through Christ with the apostles, and then in Isaiah chapter 30 verse 8, he commanded that what you have heard, go and write it, that it may be a witness throughout the generations, forever and ever. What does that mean? That God is eternal, He changes not. What He speaks, He doesn't guess. He speaks the truth. And even after 1,000,000 years, He will speak the same thing, for He is perfect. He doesn't guess about what He says. With that said, who is not true and not our God? I wonder why we human beings are extremely blind, deceived. A good reason why we have to imagine in every single minute, every single second. Why? Why imagine? Because this world is not God's word. Revelation 12 verse 9, the deceiver has deceived the whole world. Job 9:24, he has captivated the minds of the judges. And then God is wondering, if it is not the devil, then who is this who makes you or gives you to imagine you are God, so that you want to sit on your brother, sit on your neighbor, order things around as though you created anybody when you created nobody? If it is not the devil, who is he? And God says in Job 34, verse 10, 11, going downwards, God will never do wicked. Titus 1, 2. God will never tell a lie. Over truth, God cannot victimize. So, who is this? Who is victimizing? And after that, he rules and condemns and then punishes. Listen, please. Job 12, verse 10. In his hands is the breath of all living things, even plants included. He gives life and breath to every living thing. Going to chapter 34 of the same Job and verses beginning from 14, 15. If God withdraws his breath just like this, everything will perish. Plants will dry up. Grass, the same. Animals, human beings. So, what are we saying here? Who is this? Who is a God so that all human beings should bow before them? Remember Nebuchadnezzar? We're talking about what? Daniel 4 verses 30. Nebuchadnezzar did build using God's soil, God's trees, God's energy which he has given him, God's people whom he has taken captive because he's a God. God's everything, because the earth and its fullness are God's. So, after he did that, Nebuchadnezzar stood in it's not the pinnacle. What do you call the above the roof area whereby you can stand aloof atop all the buildings and behold the works of your hands, whatever you call it. You see the tower, the uppermost tower, whereby you can see everything beneath and a magnificent city. And then Nebuchadnezzar says, by the mighty of my making, I've brought about this glory. What did God answer back, tell him? You are stupid, you are foolish. From this moment henceforth, you will walk around like an ox, eating grass for 7 years, until you know that there is a God in heaven who rules in the entire universe, and he gives the kingship to whoever he deems fit. What are you talking about? The people who knew their God, and I'm sorry to say, in this generation, if a king came to you and told you that I'll give you half of my kingdom and all the world that belongs in it, And not that you worship him, it's about you have assisted him or her in some way. And then after that, he says, because of the good deeds, I'll give you half of my kingdom and all my treasures. Half of that I'll give you. Who in the present generation will say no to the same? Not a single one. We are seeing people coming in the name of God and even demanding price for special, whatever they mean by special prayers, who knows? Are people coming in the name of God and commanding that they be supported with money because they are doing it? Yeah. But Daniel, who should be, okay, in the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, I think verse 1 or 2, somewhere there, he says, we have a cloud of witnesses, those who are before us, and among them is Daniel. What did they witness about? Worship God alone, and Him alone you should serve. So, when King Darius, I think it's in Daniel 5:17, if not there, 6:15, any of those will witness to what I'm talking about. When Darius, well, after Daniel revealed a dream and interpreted it, Darius was very quick to tell him, I'll give you, no, I think it was before he revealed, I'll give you half of my kingdom. What did Daniel say? I think it's Daniel 5:17, 15, 17, somewhere there. Go give your gifts to somebody else, not to me. But as for the interpretation and the meaning, I will tell you. But your gifts, give to another, not to me. Who in our present generation and among those who profess to worship God will say the same. You don't worship God, you worship money, you worship people, you worship the so-called superior, when God plainly says that in Him, before Him, a street boy and a president are one and the same thing. A very rich man and a very poor one are one and the same thing. Job 34:19. God has no partiality. He has no difference between a poor and a rich man, for they are all His handwork. Are you getting that? So, you guys out there who profess to worship God, have you not read in Psalms? And I wish all of you guys can go read Psalms 49, the whole chapter. You see what God says about you people. Foolish guys, who can ransom or pay the price of his brother's life? And yet, you guys depend on each other. God is not present in your activities. You depend on the president. You depend on a very wealthy man who takes you as a handman. And then you praise each other. Psalms 49. Whoever has the time, get there and see what God says about you. You foolish guys. You can't ransom your brother. No one can do that. For you see that you all die and go down into the ground, and the moth feeds on you. You don't even know whom you leave your wealth to. You leave to others. And he concludes by saying, this is the fate of those who have foolish confidence in their wealth, and they don't recognize their Maker, the one. Deuteronomy 8:7 or 17 somewhere it says, is the one who gives you the power to get wealthy. And then after that, you say like the foolish Nebuchadnezzar, by the mighty of my making, in my kingdom. How many have you seen who go bragging and not in a week's time they are dead and forgotten? What are you talking about? I'm not lecturing, brethren and friends. I'm telling you the truth, which is as true as the tomorrow's rising the sun. The truth that belongs with your Creator. The one who, if He says, tomorrow you are not waking up, you will not wake up. If He says, nobody can touch you, if even the entire world armies gather together against you, a single person, no one can touch you. Or don't you remember in Psalms 105:15, where God said, touch not my anointed one. Who tried to do it? Not a single one. Is the Bible stories told about some strange people who lived in their times, so we only live to tell their stories? Is it not your very manual through which God tells you what you are, why you are, what you should be doing, and where you will end up? Is it not Hebrews 4:12, a living, active word I'm talking about? Is it not the way you should think, the way you should desire, the way you should speak, the way you should do things, plan your life to run a happy, smooth, peaceful life? What are we saying, brethren and friends? Why do we dream from morning to evening, from evening to morning? Why do we gaze at things? You see people rise and fall, come and go, great, small, everybody disappears at their own time. Why don't we wonder why it has to be so? The great majority of us think that with wealth, with acknowledgeable positions, leadership, most learned, scientifically placed, technologically ahead. After that, you don't know that the one who created you, the one who keeps you alive, the one whom once he says, you will not wake up tomorrow, you don't wake up. You don't know that all that you are doing is gifts he has talented you. For in scripture, in the same manual which I am reporting to you guys, James 1:17, every good gift comes from above, from the Father of lights, with whom we have to do. And then, after you are gifted, you put him aside. In the same way, Adam was deceived to put God aside because he's a God to himself. So you guys also put God aside. This is why in music you find like Michael Jackson, Presley, Manhattan Boys, the Beatles, ABBA, Bonham, Kandabongo, I don't know, Franco, the Grand Maître, great men. And when they are on stage, they don't talk about God. They show you how able they are. And you guys, their fans, don't think about God. You praise the Grand Maître, the great master. You praise the man on stage. Have you ever realized that he is gifted? But what you guys, because you are deceived, do, instead of acknowledging the Creator who talented him or her so that you enjoy that music, you acknowledge him. Instead of him telling you that the gift that I'm employing so that you guys can enjoy my music is from him, he tells you, I am the one. Nebuchadnezzar said, I am. Satan said, I am. But are they? Are they gods? Are you gods? Where are you today? I'm talking to you, men, all human beings. The life you are using is God's. Job 12:10, I repeat. He gives life and breath to all of you. Job 34:14-15. If he withdraws, you all die. No one can keep themselves alive even a single minute. The man that you have is his. The strength that you have is his. But you worship yourself, you worship your fellow human being. God is not present in your life. What are you guys doing? I repeat, Revelation 12:9. You guys are deceived. That is why you don't know yourself. You don't know why you are here. You don't know the life you should lead. And you don't know where you will end up. But I'm telling you here, God said in Genesis 1:26, let us make man who is like us, that after he is like us, after he is developed in character, he may rule upon the earth, which right now is ruled by the prince of the power of the air. Ephesians 2:2. Ephesians 6:12. Wicked spirit beings, the rulers of this present world, the ones who take your mind so that you think against the truth the way you do. But who is suspecting? Everybody is saying, I am. This is what I want. This is where I want to go. After this, I'll do this. Then after this, I'll go my way. You go, I do. Oh, in the morning, I'm rushing to Nairobi. I'm rushing to London, and then in the afternoon, I want to come back, and I do. James 4:14. You don't know yourself. Before even you have gone like 10 kilometers, you crash and all you see on the road is flesh, scattered blood and flesh. If you were told this was a human being who was rushing to some point and back, you can't believe. It's like a butchered animal. And then after that, I am. Are you any different from an egg which, if an egg, if it slips from your hand, you can't recollect it, it is in pieces. What is the difference between you, foolish man, and an egg? I know when I talk of you, a foolish man, you think I'm insulting. Am I? I'm telling you a bitter truth. I'm telling you about yourself and the life that you should live. I'm opening your eyes to know how much deceived you are. If you can hear, if you are given the ears to hear, that you may change and go back to your Creator, who will show you the way of peace, the way of happiness, the way of smooth running. For he says in Isaiah 48, verses 17-18, I am the Lord your God. In other words, I'm your Creator, who knows you, who understands everything, who will lead you in the way you should go, who will teach you the way you can profit. And if only you had listened to my voice, then your peace will flow like a river, and your righteousness like the waves of the sea. So he sent a messenger, Christ, and Christ said, come to me, and this is the gospel I'm preaching to all of you, and not to me. That word you are listening to, that Bible is your manual. If you want peace, if you want knowledge, if you want understanding, if you want wisdom, your manual, in the same way a manufacturer places a manual upon the gadget or the product that he has produced, so God has produced you, and he has given you that manual called the Bible, which when the messenger, our Savior and the Lord of all universe came, he said, come to me. Before that was said, he said, I am the way, I am the truth and life. No one can know God, no one can access the presence of God unless he learns from me. So, you are there, tormented by your husband, tortured by your wife, oppressed by your children, sat upon by your boss. A very rich man is bothering you, you have no life to live. You only live to bow down because you are foolish. For we are only expected to bow down before God and Him alone. You are there doing those things. The messenger from God who came to open our eyes so that we come from that deception of worshipping ourselves, everybody worshipping the other, one wanting to become like another human being, where your creator God is absent. A good reason why you don't consult with the Bible. The messenger came, and I'm showing you the way of peace, because this world knows no way of peace. So I come back to you and I say, what